Hello my friends, and welcome to my 2017 Triumph Bonneville T100 Black. Now this is the T100 model, so it's about 900 cc's. It's got plenty of power and torque for, you know, how small the bike is. It's really a fun ride. So this bike, engine-wise and performance-wise, is bone stock. Everything, you know, straight from the factory. They come blacked out like this from the factory. And however, aesthetically, this bike has some changes. I bought this used, and the gentleman that had it before me kind of altered the appearance of the bike. I think it looks pretty cool. However, eventually I'm going to be making some changes to it, so stay tuned for that. So let's take a little tour of the bike. He put the short fender kit on the front here. At the time that I purchased it, he actually only had this one little side handlebar end mirror, and I actually put on these stock mirrors because this is my first bike, so I was learning to ride, and I definitely wanted some visibility when I was first starting out. So he also did the fender eliminator kit back here, kind of cleaned it up. Also, license plate is there on the side. One thing about, if you're going to eliminate your fender, just be prepared to get some mud up your back when you're riding in the rain, but it's not that bad. So this is a smaller, lighter bike. I think it weighs like 500 pounds soaking wet. So it's definitely easy to handle, easy to maneuver. And this bike comes stock with ABS as well as a traction control option that you can turn on in the info system here by the instrument panel. And yeah, basically for all these nice features, you can get this bike for a pretty decent price. In 2017, I think they MSRP'd for like $10,300 or $10,500, something like that. So pretty affordable. Triumph makes a nice product. This bike also comes stock with the Pirelli Phantom Sports Comp tires. Pretty good tire, really decent tire in the rain. I have never had any issues with them, so I like it. So they changed out the seat, and I believe that this is the stock seat for a Triumph Street Twin. It doesn't look too bad on this bike. It kind of makes it look like a little bit sportier, but I think eventually I'm going to change that out. Got your matte black stock pea shooter exhaust here. I'm going to turn this bike on just so you can see how it sounds. Stock exhaust, so it's going to be pretty quiet. This bike is also fuel injected, which we love. Okay. Woo. So this bike is pretty quiet stock. A lot of people don't like it. They equate it to the sound of like a sewing machine. Yeah, it is quiet. When you're on the road, you just got to be careful because people just are not going to hear you coming. But sometimes it is nice just to have like this light little quiet ride, especially when you're riding your bigger Harleys with the Vance & Hines exhaust. All right, I'm gonna turn that off. So this bike is actually a liquid cooled version, and in a place like Florida here, I can't get enough of that. But yeah, overall this bike is just awesome, you guys. Like, I love this thing. And I don't see too many black versions of this bike, or the black edition, which with everything kind of blacked out. Definitely want to make her a little bit darker though. Want to take some of these like more silver pieces here and just make them a little blacker. So eventually. But let's go ahead and take her for a ride. Let's see how she goes. We'll do a little road review and then we'll be back. All right, is it recording? Yes, it is. All right, so now that I got my gear on and I'm all suited up, let's take her for a little spin. All right. This bike has pretty good torque for what it is. I've never really been like, oh my god, I'm lacking power, like I wish I had more. Like I've really never been in that situation with this bike. So this is one of those bikes. It could be your first bike and it could be your last bike. So as far as the controls go, again, super neutral riding position. I love this bike because it wants contact. Everything about your riding position insinuates good, solid contact. Your knees are touching these knee pads. They're right there for you. You can grip the tank if you need to. Yeah, the clutch and the brake, I mean, they're like right there. You don't even have to move your ankle. Like you could leave your heel right on that foot peg the whole time and just kind of pivot. It's all right there. Handlebars are here. I adjusted mine slightly. I rolled them up a little bit. They were a little bit lower before and it was causing a little bit of pressure on my wrist. But I also learned how to kind of anchor my weight and use my core to basically use the lower half of my body to secure my position and like relax my upper body more on, especially on longer rides. So that really helped. This bike is totally like a press and aim type of bike. All I gotta do is kind of just press down on my front handlebars here and this thing it just maneuvers like a dream. I wouldn't say that I ride this bike hard, but I think I ride it like it should be ridden. And I don't mind kind of pushing the engine like a little bit. Obviously it redlines as I ride more and more. The red line indicator seems to creep closer and closer, especially as I get more experience and ride other bigger bikes. But like I said, I've never been in a position, I don't ride like a crazy person. I've never been in a position where I have to ask for any more power than I've already got. You know how I can tell that fall is coming? Because instead of it being 98 degrees, it's like 95 degrees right now. There's a chill in the air. So I've ridden this thing. We're gonna take this on the highway in a minute here, just to kind of show you what it's like. Totally capable, totally highway capable. We have a lot of highways here in Central Florida that are, 70 miles an hour is the speed limit. This thing totally performs. Your upper body might get a little tired after a while. I do not have a windshield for this bike. I've taken some longer trips and your body just has to adjust a little and get used to it. I find that this bike is extremely forgiving. Even though it's a smaller bike, you could ride, like, you could be going 10 or 15 miles an hour and be in like third gear and the thing's not gonna, you're gonna know, but it's forgiving. So if you're a new rider and you're worried about learning how to shift a motorcycle and going through the gears, you're not gonna have a problem with this. As long as you're not a total doofus. Alright, so let's go find a big old highway and let's see what she's got. So when I decided that I wanted to start riding, the first thing I did was go take the course, get my license. That was the first time I'd ever been on a bike. It was nerve-wracking. Like the first day was scary as hell because I was just like, oh my god, I'm gonna drop this thing, or I'm gonna lose this thing. I don't understand, like my muscles don't understand how to do all of these controls at once. It's like this multitasking thing. And after I took the course, I was like, all right, maybe I should just, like the Rebel 250 or a Ninja 250, like entry-level bikes, like let's start looking. And then I was just like, wait a second, I don't have time to like find a bike off Craigslist, buy it,
use it for, like, people were like, oh, you're gonna outgrow that thing in a month, you're gonna outgrow it in 2 or 3 months, you're gonna want something more. I don't have time to be like buying and selling bikes and honing down, narrowing down like which one I'm gonna want. I just got what I thought was gonna be good, and I trusted the internet. I read a lot of reviews about this bike. I never, even when I bought it at the dealer, I didn't even test ride it. The sales guys were looking at me like I was a nutcase. They were like, you don't want to test ride the bike? You're about to drop like thousands of dollars. You don't want to, what? And I was like, yeah, man, I've never, I ain't trying to have a learning lesson in your parking lot today at the risk of dropping this beautiful machine. So I did it at home. And you know what, people? It worked out. Alright, so we're gonna get on this highway here. Alright, so I'm in second gear, entering this on-ramp. Let's take it up to third. Let's get up in fourth. Alright, I'm in fifth already. NBD. Nope. Alright, now I'm in fifth. Running just under 4,000 RPM. You buddy. So, now I'm just about at 4,000. I'm going 75, 74, 75. You know, it's going. It's definitely going, but it's no problem. You know, this thing just carries. It's totally fine. And I've never been in a situation where like I couldn't get out of the way or couldn't get out of a situation. I mean, I've never really encountered any like super harrowing situations, but this thing has never given me a problem. It is nice though because the engine noise is so minimal. And the wind noise is kind of with you, but it does make for a pretty nice, more serene ride at 70 miles an hour on a highway, if I can say it that way. The vibration is minimal on this bike. It is so even right now, I've got a tiny little buzz going on in the soles of my feet, but that is it. Like even my hands, barely anything. This bike is liquid cooled. It hardly, there will be heat coming off of it, but it is minimal compared to an air-cooled bike. Air-cooled engines get really hot, especially when you're in traffic here. Oh my god. It will like borderline burn your skin. Brakes are pretty good on this bike. The traction control being on as well, and the ABS that's just standard with the bike. Really safe. Pretty safe ride. So if you're new and you're inexperienced, or even if you're an experienced rider and you just want a little bit of a security blanket, it's there. In conclusion, I really like this bike. There was a reason that I went with this as my first bike, and honestly, I really want to keep this thing forever. I would never see a reason why I wouldn't like having this bike around. So I would highly suggest it, whether it's your first bike or just something you kind of want to add to your collection. This is a great overall ride, and I've really enjoyed it so far. So that's pretty much all I got to say about that.
So yeah, overall, this bike is a wonderful bike. It's a great first bike, it's a great last bike. They pretty much do it all, and can't say enough good things. I would strongly recommend. So yeah, if you're interested or you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me, let me know. Otherwise, enjoy your day, enjoy your rides.